Some really good options. On this episode of Locked On Lightning, we're watching the Jets Lightning game. Nikita Kucherov gets elected to the All-Star team. We talk about all of that and more. But first, let's play that music.
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Lightning, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Adam Dank. I want to thank all of you for making us your first listen of the day. In this episode, we're talking about Lightning Jets, coach to the All-Star team. So you're joining me through halfway through the first intermission, I guess. Lightning and Jets are all squared at 1. It looked like the Lightning really were in control of this game, which I still think they are. And they were doing a very good job of playing vintage Lightning hockey. First 10 minutes of this game, no stoppages. The Lightning are skating up and down with such speed throughout this game. And you could kind of see, and maybe it seemed to me at least, that it kind of seemed like the Jets were kind of gassed. I wouldn't say gas, but they looked like they were having a hard time keeping up with the Lightning, and it played right into their hands. They had a fast break chance with Stamkos, which, I spoke about coming into this game, that this was a game I was really looking forward to because guess what? This is goalie, one of the two best goalies in the league. You got Vasilevsky on one side, Hellebuck on the other, two former Vezina Trophy winners. And Hellebuck makes a very good save on Stamkos to deny him goal 499 for his career. But Anthony Cirelli, moments later, gets an assist from none other than Steven Stamkos to get his second goal of the year and get the Lightning on the board. And I really liked how the Lightning were really controlling this game. They were doing a very good job of puck possession. Like I said, they were skating up and down. They were playing, I think they were being very ruthless along the boards, very aggressive on the puck handlers. And, that's the way you want to see this team play, especially against a team such as the Winnipeg Jets, who have been playing so well this year. And so very good start for the Lightning. Hopefully they could keep this up into going into the second period. We all know how the Lightning sometimes have great periods, and then as soon as they hit that intermission, it's basically most of the time you're building back from square one. They have a very hard time of carrying over performances from period to period. But if their season play from period to period is any indication of how they are going to play in this second period, I think that we have a lot of optimism that we have and enthusiasm towards this period, because the Lightning are very well. They're one of those teams where they get better and better as the game progresses. Now, just to put in perspective, in the first period, they're outscoring their opponents 41-30. Now, a little bit lopsided here in the second period stats, 33-36, but this is where 33-36 in favor of their opponents. But in the third period, the Lightning are absolute animals, once again, kind of tipping the scales back in their favor, outscoring their opponents 51-45. And on the road, they haven't fared as well, which, listen, I think that the way they're playing, they're really going to start to flip the script, outscoring their opponents 18-17 in the first period, being outscored 15-12 in the second on the road, and being outscored 24-18 in the third period. But like I said, the Lightning, if this first period is any indication of what we might see in the second period, I think the Lightning will be in very good shape going into the second period. Now, after one period, their record when tied, they are 6-8, 3-4 on the road. So yeah, the numbers don't really dictate, how well they play on the road as they progress. But like I said, they have, regardless of the score and that goal at the end of the first period, Kyle Connor scoring the goal for Winnipeg there. I think that really thus far up until that point, and that was very late in the period, I think that the Lightning have done a very good job and looked somewhat like their vintage performance that we have seen from playoff games, from games when they're really, really on. And I think it was one of the better first periods that we've seen out of this team all season. So really excited to see that. And then one of the stories in this game, of course, has been the absence of Victor Hedman. He, of course, traveled earlier today back to Tampa for the birth of his second child. So if he's listening to this, congratulations, Hetty. And I actually kind of welcome certain changes like this. Obviously you never want to have a player miss a game, but at the same time, I think it kind of brings a different sort of energy to the team, especially in the game of hockey, when the coach is kind of forced to change things up. Um, I really like when we start to see different combinations out there, whether it be on the forward lines or on the defensive pairing. So as tonight, it's Perbix and Sergachev, Cole and Chernak, and Fleury and Foot. Uh, Really curious to see how Foot and Fleury play together. I feel like it's forever that we've spoken about Cal Foot. He was hurt for a little bit and then just kind of fell off the map there with the emergence of Nick Perbix there. So, but I really like this. This gives Perbix and Sergachev chance to play with each other. Kind of injects a little bit more energy into you. I kind of feel like in sports, and those who have played sports at high levels can agree that, oftentimes when your coach mixes things up, whether it be in hockey or, you get a new teammate or whatever, kind of gives you a new feeling, a new burst of energy. You want to play well with this person and somewhat, don't have the coach regret mixing things up the way he did. So I really like these pairings. I think they've been doing a good job thus far. I am curious to see how Perbix and Sergey are going to gel together, especially just because Sergachev has shown flashes of his offensive ability this year. Perbix, we all know, just got that 2-year deal. Not so much on the offensive side of things, but one of the better defensemen on this team, as we have seen in games past. Well, this year, really, what he's proven and why he's gotten this contract. The other line I'm really curious to see is Fleury and Foot. Fleury, of course, doesn't really get a lot of playing time. Foot still very much early in his NHL career, still learning. So you're going to see, a little bit of a similar but not so similar duo there on that third line defensive pairing tonight, because Foot, who I feel like what we could see potentially out of him as his career progresses and he continues to get better and improve, is that he's got that offensive ability, he's got that touch. It's just a matter of being more confident out there and being able to take that chance and take shots and then having the ability and know how to get back on the rush if need be. And Fleury, we all know about him, been in the league for a while now. Very tough defensive-minded player. A little bit undersized for a defenseman, but definitely not afraid to throw his body weight around. So as I'm talking about that now, like I said, we are watching the Jets game. In the background, Kucherov, the leading scorer in the NHL, newly named All-Star, just scored the go-ahead goal. So we'll talk about him in the second segment, because I really want to get into him. I feel like we've been talking about Braden Point a lot lately. Obviously, of course, rightfully so, with the month of December that he had. But Kuch was named to the All-Star team today. So, we're going to talk about him, as well as, him just scoring the goal just now to get the Lightning the lead. So we'll talk about that in just a bit. But this is a reminder that today's episode of Locked on Lightning is brought to you by Built. Now, Are you looking for a delicious treat but don't want all the fat and calories? Then you got to try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat a little bit healthier this year. If you're like me and you want to eat healthier but don't want to compromise taste, then guess what? I got just a thing for you. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious you won't think that they're good for you. Perfect for your New Year's resolution. Now, I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy. They only have 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 12 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around just to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today. Walk to the pharmacy section and grab yourself a box of Built bars. You can pick up to a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or chocolate puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie, batter, and churro. You could thank me later. So once again, I want to thank everybody for making us your first listen of the day. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the podcast. Give us a follow wherever podcasts are distributed in audio form. We are also available on YouTube, so subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we are in the middle of watching the Lightning and Jets. Vasilevsky just made a very good, tough save. Hit him right in the chest, and he stayed with it to eliminate the rebound there on the rush. This looks like it's starting to become a little bit chippier. I think that if I had to bet, I would say that eventually, because like I said, to begin this game, that Tampa got off to a very good start skating. I really think very much so outskated and very much outplayed the Jets in that first period. Even though the period ended with a tie, I think that it was one of the better periods that we have seen all season long. And I really firmly believe, like I said, that the Lightning are only going to get better. And we saw it. Kucherov scores a goal in this period to give the Lightning the lead. I think that we might see a little bit more of physicality from the Jets as the game goes on in an attempt to slow down Tampa Bay. But Nikita Kucherov, I mean, we talk about this guy, and the way we talk about him, not only that we talk about him, but I feel like to a certain point at this, even as Lightning fans, I think that we have gotten a little bit, what's the right word, pedestrian with some of the things that he has done in his career. Having a phenomenal season, leads the NHL in points with 54. Actually picked up his 55th point tonight, his 14th goal of the season tonight as well. And what more is there to say about this guy? I mean, yeah, we've talked about on the last couple of episodes, well, really the last couple of weeks, how well Braden Point has played and what kind of month of December that he has had. And rightfully so. The guy was absolutely on fire. But, you know, when Point isn't as hot as he is now, Kucherov really is the lifeblood of this team. He is really what makes the Lightning world spin. And rightfully so. I mean, he is, you know, we talk so much about his goal scoring ability and his ability to do certain things off the puck. Just how much, you know, even we've talked about in years past how when he comes back from injury, how the minute he scores a couple of points, teams, even with him not having the puck, his ability to draw defenders towards him, because he does have that ability, of course, for that one-timer. But the thing that I think, you know, really makes him so dangerous is that not only can he score on you when he needs to or when actually he wants to, because we all know how, you know, it seems though at times that Cooch is kind of hesitant to shoot. And there's been a lot of talk about that. I've spoken about it quite extensively on this show. I think that he should be averaging four shots a game at least. But the thing that really is the huge intangible for him is the fact that he is able to have somewhat of that point guard-esque ability to draw defenders in on him. And when I say that, I mean when he has the puck and he doesn't have to do much. All he has to do is slowly skate in, deke a couple of times, and then he'll have 2 to 3 defenders on him. And that allows other players on this Lightning team to get open for scoring, high danger scoring chances. And on top of that is the fact that he is able to thread the needle on almost any pass. It seems like watching Kucherov play out there and doing the things that he is doing and playing the way he does, it's like watching someone play NHL the video game on easy. So for him, his performance this year thus far, he has been named initially to the All-Star team. So congratulations to him. Of course, I'm sure that that is something you depending on what player you ask. I'm curious as to see how, what his take on that is and how he feels about that. So very interesting to see who else gets selected. Now there is online voting and it closes on January 17th at 11:59. You can go to NHL.com/vote. You got to vote for Braden Point. You got to vote for Stamkos. Maybe throw I would say for defensemen, you got to throw Hedman in there. Probably. I would say, Perbix, I think would deserve some votes there. I would like to see him get some votes. But there's a lot of players obviously deserving. We're probably going to see Vasilevsky get voted to the All-Star team too. But he really deserves it. And I'm curious, the All-Star game is one of those games that I'm not necessarily into. It's pickup hockey, which is nice. But you really don't see that much goaltending sometimes. But nevertheless, I do like to tune in and out here and there throughout the course of the game, just because guys like Kucherov, guys who almost play like they're playing pickup. He's so relaxed out there. He kind of just is super creative. And really I don't think he knows half the time where he's going with the puck. I think it's just a split decision. He sees an opening and he takes it. And really at this point in his career, it's just second nature. So, well-deserved All-Star vote. Hopefully we could be talking at the end of the season about him potentially being in the conversation for some trophies alongside Braden Point, as well as Andre Vasilevsky for the Vezina. So we'll very excited to see how the rest of the season shapes up, and definitely, hopefully, we could get more Lightning players on this All-Star team. So wrapping things up, like I said, we are in the middle of watching this Lightning Jets game. The Jets do have the 2-man advantage, and they just scored on the power play. So now we reset back to 0. The two teams are now tied at 2. I'm not mad about that. The Lightning just couldn't get the puck out of the zone. This Jets team is very good, one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Vasilevsky had a ton of traffic in front of him, and this is I still firmly believe this is going to be a game that's going to come down to goaltending between Hellebuck and of course Vasilevsky, who is the better goaltender tonight. And I think that Vasilevsky having the 2 games off in a row, I don't like that idea, especially going into a game like this. I do like the fact that he does have some extra rest, which is very nice. I do like that, especially with the month of games that we have coming up in the next couple of weeks. But so far, he's given up 2 goals. One of them was a crazy, ridiculous goal. Not crazy, ridiculous, but definitely a great goal by Pierre-Luc Dubois. And then Luc Dubois actually got actually Pierre-Luc Dubois got credit for both of these goals. I knew he got the power play goal, but originally I thought it was Kyle O'Connor who got credit on the goal, but I guess it went off Luc Dubois in the first period. So 2 goals by Dubois in this one of which is a power play goal. And yeah, like I said, we're back to zero with the Lightning and Jets just going back to full strength. So glad to see that the Lightning killed off another power play. So, now the Lightning are going to try and they're going to have to limit some mistakes down the road as they've already been on the power play 3 times tonight. Hopefully they could draw some penalties as the game goes on. The Lightning did a very good job with the possession play in the beginning of this game, and a lot of that had to do with their ability and their performance in the face-off circle. But now we're starting to see, as I said, I really was interested to see how the Lightning would be able, if they could, carry any of that momentum into the second period. And now we're starting to see slowly that the script has flipped in Winnipeg right now. So hopefully, Hedman not being in the game, or not playing tonight, won't be as big of a factor as we'd hope. Like I said, now we're getting really chippy here in Winnipeg after the shot. And yeah, hopefully nobody commits any reckless penalties in this one. So, we'll be back on Monday to discuss more about this game. Definitely this is going to be a game that it's going to be, I think, down to the wire. I think that it's, like I said, Hellebuck and Vazzy are both going to have to stand on their heads in this one in order for their respective teams to come out on top. So like I said, we'll be back on Monday to recap this game. But in the meantime, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the podcast. Once again, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit that notification bell, and drop the thumbs up, as well as a comment below. How do you think this game is going to shape out? Or did you think, if you're seeing this after the game, did you expect this kind of game to happen? Do you think that Hedman being gone affected the way this game ended if the Lightning do fall short of a win? We'll talk about all that on Monday. But in the meantime, that's been it for this episode of Locked On Lightning, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Adam Danker. I'll talk to you next.